Cult Girls is the story of Dahlia, who grows up inside a pagan post-apocalyptic cult with her two sisters. The cult is raided by authorities and Dahlia's sisters go missing. Years later, Dahlia develops like a psychic connection to a black metal character called Moloch, and she feels that he knows something about the disappearance of her missing sisters. So she must journey into the wilderness to try and find this character, and her investigation quickly becomes a descent into hell.
So really it's about the journey of fulfilling the promises and everything that happens on that journey.
Why are you following me?
The tattoo on your wrist? You're one of those girls, aren't you?
I really wanted to base the film with an Eastern European vibe. I was really drawn to the folk horror films from the late 60s and early 70s, directors like Jess Franco and Jean Rollin, and obviously all the classic folk horror films.
It's kind of about this kind of mysterious cult that I guess was started in the Eastern Bloc in those countries, and I'm the head of the cult.
We have long suffered through ignorance, lust, and greed.
We kind of gathered some of that research and information, and then I had a chance to travel to Lithuania, which is where my heritage is from. My grandfather, when I was growing up, used to show me photos of the place, and I thought, I've got to go there. It was just, it had such an eerie vibe.
The Hill of Crosses in Lithuania was amazing because of its, it just speaks to you with its scenery, and it's just one of the most amazing places for anyone to visit. It's just an eerie place in itself.
Lithuania's got a really fascinating history in that it was the last European nation to be converted to Christianity, so there were a lot of pagan beliefs and pagan locations.
Hi, I'm Nathan Hill. I am the casting director of Cult Girls and also an associate producer. It was interesting casting Jane. When Mark brought me the script, I realised there was a spot there for her. I had worked with her previously on another movie and felt she'd be right for Ragnar. The role itself, I guess, is really a primary role. It was very specific. Mark had, a checklist of things he wanted to fit into the paradigm of that character, so we were lucky to get Jane.
My role is, like I said, the head of the cult, and you kind of never quite know. I mean, you do sort of know that I'm evil, or am I evil? I mean, that's the thing, that fine line between people that believe in a cult and they think they're going to make a better world. But yeah, I kind of think that I have supernatural powers, that I'm able to kind of be in touch with some kind of higher consciousness. So people are drawn to me.
Sleepwalk, children, into the valley of death.
We really wanted to cast very strong female characters to tell the story. In Eastern European folklore, many of the goddesses are all these powerful women characters, and I drew a lot upon that.
I suppose she's someone who's quite fragile because of her past, but at the same time she has to be really strong. So she's always had to rely on herself. She hasn't had a lot of help, which makes her quite, a bit suspicious of people, I suppose. Yeah, there's really interesting layers of strength and vulnerability in my character.
That's not going to be any good. Okay, we'll go for a take, guys.
And action.
Back to first position.
Okay. Excellent, guys.
It's been fabulous. It's been so multifaceted. There's so many different types of scenes that I'm doing. Action, crying, emotion.
Everyone's just been so dedicated to the project, and they've really thrown themselves into the roles, and it's just been really easy for me because I'm a very visual director, and it's just been really good to focus on the visuals, and being such a fantastic location here, it's really, the atmosphere here has really helped everyone's performances as well.
Really impressed with the setting, like the backdrop, the forest. It's just a beautiful mood, perfect for the film.
I've basically been involved right from the start, or pretty much the start, so the European filming as well as the Australian filming.
Action!
So John Fox is a pyrotechnician that's had years of experience in the Australian film industry, and so we were very excited to have him on board.
We help indie filmmakers when we can.
3, 2, 1!
This is a BMW 325. Tell us a bit about it, Johnny. Tell us the story.
Yeah, in the sequence at the end of the film, we will blow this car up.
In Cult Girls, we have a character called Moloch, who is like this obscure, notorious black metal figure who lives like a hermit outside in the forest. There's a lot of folklore surrounding Satanism in black metal.
Yeah, I watched personally probably 6 or 7 documentaries about black metal and what's happened in that time, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's fucking dark scene, but it's very interesting because you create a new character for himself, like for myself.
Dean Kirkright plays a Samoth character, and he's not who you really expect him to be in the film.
He's into his black metal, which is a sort of heavy metal style kind of music with a lot more intense burning churches and crazy shit going on there, excuse the French. But Sam, he's just an introverted guy.
We are the tribulation, and this is melancholia.
And we're really lucky. My assistant director Hussein Koda, organised for us to film a band called Tribulation that were from Sweden. Dark Mofo is this fantastic festival in Tasmania that draws dark art from all over the world, and it was just amazing having them in the film because we had the production of a big concert with all the lighting and a big crowd and the big stage that really comes across in the film. With Cult Girls, I was very lucky to have Erin McKim do my sound design and composition. We looked at a lot of traditional Lithuanian structures for their songs. Lithuanian, the language and music is a very ancient form.
In Lithuania, there's a traditional singing style called Deities, and it's essentially polytonal music, and it's very unique to Lithuania. For Cult Girls, we work with this artist named Brigita, who is a Lithuanian singer, and she specialises in singing traditional and ancient Lithuanian songs. And we recorded 3 songs with her for the film, and out of those 3 songs, we ended up using one of them as a main theme. And that became a very important theme for the main characters, Ragana and Dahlia, and the connection between the two of them.
I guess the advantage of having someone like Jane Badler in the movie is that she could push the international sales. For example, Mark had gone overseas to America for post-production, and I guess if we hadn't have had Jane in the movie, that may not have happened.
So with Cult Girls, I was really lucky to do my post-production in Los Angeles. We worked with All Edge Entertainment in Santa Monica. The owner of the company, Doug Kaplan, and his team really helped polish the film on every single level. The guy who did the sound mix, his name was Jonathan Miller, and he worked on some huge films, including Don't Breathe, Independence Day, The Evil Dead remake, Trainspotting. And some of my favourite films were Richard Stanley's first films, Hardware and Dust Devil.
So when I was in LA, the great thing was Mark just happened to be there doing post-production. We went to a very famous studio. It was really exciting, and we saw the film, and that was the first time that I saw it. And that was really exciting, and I think it's always great when you can bring in people from another country and they give you that nod of approval.
Mark is obviously someone who's very, very visual, a director, and that came through on every aspect of the project. And I think it can also be seen in the final product. It's just beautiful kind of visual celebration of things that are dark.
Mark's a really kind of open to collaboration, and that was really great. So I think Mark generally was very happy with everything that I brought to the film, And I just found him really easygoing. He never seemed to get tense, or I mean, maybe he was, but it never showed, which is really good from the person at the top.
I think deep down sometimes I feel a lot of pressure, you know, like there's a lot of, there's a big weight on your shoulders when so many people put so much energy into it, and you really want to do the best job you can, you know, so it moves on from becoming just your own thing to this bigger sort of beast, I guess, you know, that's a good word.
And it was a big film, and he was trying to achieve a lot with, you know, not a very big budget. So I think it's extraordinary, you know, what he's done with this.
Rolling cameras and standing by.
Just wait for me.
And action! And action!
Okay.